Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
Davey.
Trevi.
Mark. And we've just finished playing Outpost Siberia. Now, it's a cooperative game where you're all sort of explorers in some kind of disease-infested Siberia, because there's lots of these horrible monster things that keep turning up. Essentially, when it's your turn, you can kind of decide who's going to take a turn. You're drawing 2 cards from this equipment deck, and you're just looking at the yellow bit at the top. So this could be a flare, which is handy for getting rid of some of the monsters' abilities, or water, which you might need to survive. But also, alternatively, I could take cards for their attack value. So I might decide to put the flare in the middle as a kind of communal card that anybody could use. And then I'm keeping the 3 attack. When the card is in your hand, all you're looking at is the attack value. And then you're trying to fight off these monsters. So each monster has a certain amount of health. So this has 8 health in order to defeat it. And they have special abilities as well that might hurt you in various ways. So for example, the raccoon dog is going to deal 1 damage to somebody at the end of each round, which is after everyone's had a turn. So you have a certain amount of health here, and not very much health, which you're trying to keep track of. So then I could attach this card maybe to the raccoon dog to try and kill it, because this needs 3, and we've already put 1 underneath here, so that'll make 4. But that's not enough to kill it. As well as that, you need some kind of weapon. So fortunately, we also have a flamethrower. So I could then spend the flamethrower to use kind of all of the attack that's on it to kill the raccoon dog. But then there's this interesting deck building element, because the cards you put on here, along with the bad card, if you like, gets turned upside down. And now these cards are being added to the discard pile. And when you run out of these equipment cards, you're shuffling and using these. So as you kill things, they're kind of coming back round. So that's something you need to bear in mind. Essentially, you're trying to work through each of these monsters. At the end of each turn, after you've done whatever killing and playing cards, you then draw another one of these cards, which might be a good card like this, although it still requires you to pay something. So in this case, you have to use a card to attack a threat. So actually that's quite handy. So, but again, it goes into the discard pile. But some of them, if we draw them... Oh, that's another good one. We've had nothing but monsters. My goodness. That's why we struggle so much. Here we go. So there's a monster, it's a raging boar, and it kind of gets added to the supply here. If 5 of these turn up, you lose the game, which is how we lost. You notice there are 5 here. But essentially, you're just trying to get through this whole deck. So some of them, there's quite a few monster cards, as you can see. There are some good cards potentially that turns up, and then there's some like this one, a bad card that's going to require you to, for example, discard a flamethrower. It is really, really hard, but in theory, once you get through all of those, you win the game. If anybody gets to 0 health, though, you all lose. And as I say, if you get 5 of those threat cards popping out, you lose as well. Right, what do we think?
It seems too hard. I really like the theme, and the mechanics are really simple and quick to play. I just can't see a way of winning it at the moment. That's about what I think.
Okay, Joey?
I found it hard as well. Probably play it again, just to see if we can actually finish it. Yeah.
All right. Mark?
Yeah, people aren't saying much because the game didn't last very long. Like 10 minutes, maybe we got that far. I would say it's just hard. I just can't fundamentally see how you can beat it. The Yeti has 13 health, so assume these cards on average are going to give you 2 damage. So that's across 7 cards plus a weapon. If we just concentrated just on that through an entire game, we still may only just have beaten that one thing, and we'd have lost long time before that. So there's a difference between hard and just, I don't see how I can't see how you beat it. And I think you've looked at Board Game Geek and people agree. So it's not just us. Dave's played it plenty of times. He can't beat it. It's also can lead to heavy analysis paralysis because it's quite easy that somebody knows the game better. I mean, Dave was giving a lot of tips on how best to play it, and it isn't just that Dave was playing wrong. He was giving the right tips. We just couldn't beat it. It's like a really, really bad version of the Grizzle.
Okay, rating?
Based on that, I think it's broken too. As a theme, as a game, probably, I don't know, I'd probably give the theme as a short card game, it's about 5 if it was beatable. But as it stands, it's a 2. It's a game. I just think it's broken.
Okay, Joey?
4.
Okay, David?
Oh, well, this is the first time where my thumbs up doesn't quite work. because I really like the idea of this game, but I've played it 6 times now, and I just can't see how you're meant to play it. And I feel like, am I getting the rule wrong? But everyone else seems to think it's the same thing. So I think for the first time, thumbs down.
Okay. I actually really like the cooperative deck building thing, because I've never seen that in a game before. You know, you're trying to decide collectively which threats to go for, bearing in mind they're going to get added to your deck along with the cards that you're using. However, as everyone else has said, there are a couple of major issues here. One of them is obviously the difficulty of the game, but the other one is just the number of choices you've got. On your turn, you're drawing 2 cards, and you're just trying to decide where to put those 2 cards. And a lot of the time, it's fairly obvious which one you should keep in hand and which one you stick in the middle. So you're making very few choices as you go through the game. You play it for 10 minutes, Mark says, and then you die. So, if you don't mind losing every game you play, I do quite like the cooperative deck building element, but that's not something I really want to do. So, I think I've gone a 3. Alright, thanks for watching. That was Outpost Siberia.